this is it. We're standing in this gigantic basin, almost 100 square miles. And every basin could then have giant solar projects from Reno to Las Vegas.
Getting ready to head up to near Tonopah. We just got word that the BLM did a press release saying they're gonna open up 94 square miles of public land near Tonopah to solar development, and they're gonna have a public meeting in 2 weeks. Very much time there. They are definitely fast tracking it. I'm heading up to meet up with Kevin and Laura of Basin and Range Watch. We're gonna meet up with them near Tonopah. We're gonna go out onto the land and show you what's at stake. We just left our camp spot. We just camped at this place called Bonnie Claire Playa last night. It's north of Beatty, south of Tonopah, and it's out here on Scotty's Junction Road towards Death Valley. It's pretty cool, and it's just good to be out in Nevada's outback. You know, last night under the stars, it was just, you could see so many stars because there's no light out here. We're 3.5 hours away from Las Vegas, and there's no other major cities nearby, so it's just one of those places where the stars are just brilliant, like they should be. You know, there were bats flying around last night, eating the bugs. We saw signs of probably burros or wild horses, and I'm sure there's bighorn sheep here. But this is a basin, and you know, I don't know if this is a spot where they're going to build solar panels or not, to be honest. But it's just, it's one of the largest intact ecosystems in the lower 48 states. It's still relatively wild in its own ways. I mean, I'm looking at power lines and I'm driving on a road, but beyond that, in the, you know, every direction, there's just nothing. And by nothing, I mean nothing built by human hands. There is actually quite a bit out here on its own.
We'd wanted to come here to show you the extent of these proposed solar projects in Esmeralda County near Tonopah. The BLM is putting out a press release but not really telling the public about, and so we drove to Tonopah and put this printout that I made of public meetings about these solar projects on the bulletin boards of libraries, stores, post office. Hello. It's like a huge number of them, and they're not telling the public
about what they're
doing in their public meetings. And so we're just putting stuff on the bullet, like the library and the post office, just to let people know. So we're near Tonopah, Nevada, and this is the Crescent Dunes Solar Power Tower project. And they don't make too many of these anymore because it cost, you know, only $1.7 billion to build this on our public lands. But how it works is different from the photovoltaic projects that they are mostly building now. This has a bunch of mirrors surrounding a central tower receiver, and they bounce and concentrate the solar flux onto the top of that tower. But this project has been off for like a year because the metal pipes where the molten salt gets superheated by this sun, they burst. The pipes actually melted. So this project had a bunch of problems and was actually shut down.
This particular project has a history to it. They were testing this tower and focusing all of the mirrors, which are also called heliostats, above the tower. And within about a 4-hour period, about 140 birds were vaporized and basically turned into giant streaks of light and sort of disappeared. And those are called nicknamed streamers that could be potentially lethal to birds. If they don't get vaporized next to the tower, they could get blinded. They could get singed and injured severely, and they could fly off into the desert. They could be weakened and eaten by predators.
No, this is a common sort of a transition lower Great Basin scrub. This is like saltbush, and there's a dye bush here that the Native Americans made dye from. There's greasewoods. There's pronghorn antelope here, horned larks, meadowlarks, burrowing owls, kit foxes, and we probably have bighorn sheep crossing the basin to get to the mountains, which it's so smoky today from the Sierra Nevada wildfires, you can't see the mountains. But no, this is a really nice habitat, and in other rainy years has a lot of grass even. Yeah, this is a small utility scale solar project nowadays at 1,700 acres. This is tiny. I mean, we're going to look at some that are 6,000, 10,000, and even more. That's what they're proposing. 17,000 acres. Although, again, none of the new ones are this ancient concentrated solar thermal technology. They're going to be photovoltaic, so they'll be just panels. Okay, we're in the in a playa on a really smoky day, and we'd wanted to come here to show you the extent of these proposed solar projects. But this is it. We're standing in this gigantic basin north of Silver Peak, west of Tonopah, and all of this that we can see is a proposed solar energy zone that would be composed of several solar projects by different companies. And if you can imagine 100 square miles of photovoltaic panels, that's just unheard of. So there will be public meetings about the beginning stages of these applications. September 8th, 6:30 p.m., and then another meeting at September 9th, and they are Zoom online meetings. We'll have this on our website, Basin and Range Watch, how to participate in these meetings. And this is like 100 square miles of proposed photovoltaic solar projects. And we're standing in a playa which collects water. This is a basin. This is the Great Basin. So this, actually in winter, when it's not a drought, it's a drought year, but when it's a rainy winter, this fills with a shallow layer of water and becomes a temporary lake. And so the idea of building solar projects, solar electric facilities in a playa that will collect water at times, to me seems crazy and dangerous. But this is, you know, our open public land, and this Greenlink transmission line, this is the proposed Greenlink West transmission line, will slash through quite a lot of the southwestern Nevada, and every basin could then have giant solar projects everywhere, from Reno to Las Vegas.
They're choosing this particular area because they feel it has the least diversity, but it could easily have a number of rare plant species. It probably has a good population of burrowing owls, and we believe this is probably a really good linkage area for pronghorn, which are seen in this area quite often. And so we're very worried about this. We think that a lot of wildlife species and rare species could be impacted. And I also have to wonder, I don't know yet, what kind of archaeological cultural resources are located here. What do some of the people in the tribes actually think of this area being turned into an industrial sacrifice zone?
Yeah, because a lot of these playas are ice age lakes. So 10,000 years ago, they were permanent lakes, and they had early indigenous people hunting and fishing all around the edges of these Great Basin lakes. So this valley could be full of archaeology, and that's probably a big impact that we're not hearing about.
Each of these solar projects will require lithium battery banks. Just down the road from these projects is one of the largest lithium producing mines in the United States. Though the smoke made visibility low, from where we were standing we could see the Monte Cristo Range, which is home of proposed lithium projects that will have similar water issues that many of the other controversial lithium projects have. I think we need to realize it's not just one thing. If it's not solar, it's lithium or other mining and development. We are systematically destroying one of the largest remaining intact ecosystems in the lower 48 states. This isn't a solution to the climate crisis, and it makes the biodiversity crisis worse than it already is. It's not a solution to anything. Well, we broke down out in the lithium mines. The old vehicle, the brakes seized up on me. So, waiting for a tow truck to come and rescue us. Tow the vehicle back and get the brakes fixed, I guess. And that's part of the adventure. We'll just have to come back out and finish this episode another time. Thanks for your support.